Ouaki. So he's the head of unit financial instruments at European Innovation Council. So all of you startups who are interested in getting to know more about the funding or support that you can get from the European Innovation Council, please stay here, come to the front rows, there's spaces in the front rows, and we'll have Stephane joining up here in a minute. I'll remind you that at 4 there will be the final pitching on the other stage. So if you want to hear the 5 finalists and find out who will be actually the winner, so you have to go there at 4. And we'll be closing this stage at 4 for that reason, so that everybody can be there for the finals. And now, Stephane, please step on the stage. Welcome with a round of applause, please. Here's a clicker.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. So I will make a very quick presentation to tell you what we do at the European Innovation Council, which is basically to bring money to you in the form of an accelerator. We're bringing money, directly funding to high potential innovators. So if you have a company and if you have a very good idea, one that you needs financing, but you have difficulties, you struggle to find financing because you are very early in your development, this is the type of ideas that we are looking for to actually finance. So we are providing very simple to access financing, even if, of course, it's highly competitive. We are providing financing that is innovator-centric, that is concentrating and focused on the need of the innovators. And we're trying to do that in an agile way to correspond to the needs you have when you have a small company. So this is not minor money that we put this year on the table. We'll have about 700 million just in 2020 to put forward for startups all across Europe. And we'll do that in particular here with the EIC Accelerator, which is there to finance a startup. We provide basically 2 options, either grant only, up to 2.5 million euros per application that you can access, or if you are a bit further developed, further advanced, you also can complement that 2.5 million euro grant with an application for a 15 million euro equity participation that the European Commission will be ready to take. We are aiming that, of course, for, like I said, for developing and scaling up high-risk innovations. So if you have, in particular, a breakthrough innovation, if you are working on an idea that can potentially create a new market, and you have difficulties to get money from existing investors, from VCs, from banks, but you have a great management team and you have a clear ambition of where you want to go, this is the type of companies that can apply and will be potentially very successful. You will have, of course, to convince us that you have a viable commercialization plan and your target market is something that you have studied and that actually holds water. How does it work? There is an IT tool to which you can apply. This is where you can submit the proposal. After this submission, there are a number of deadlines. The next one is the 18th of March. Your proposal will be evaluated by a number of experts that we hire from all across Europe. And then if you're successful after that first step, you will be invited to come to Brussels to pitch to us directly in an interview that are actually concluding this week, this interview week for the previous cutoff. And then if that has actually worked and you've been selected, then a team will be in contact with you to sign a grant agreement, to finalize the grant agreement. And if you have applied for the equity option, then we'll move to the next step, which is the due diligence. We'll look in more detail at your business plan, at your company to see what you want to do. And the EIC fund then will perform this due diligence for you to make sure that we actually can look at the details and getting all this all right in order to actually sign very quickly an equity investment. In that process, we will try to crowd in other VCs, other investors, because of course the point of this initiative is not to exclude other investors. We are trying, on the contrary, to act as a platform to crowd in as many investors as possible. We have build a community of VCs across Europe that will be there as our partner, and that will help us to actually increase the amount of money, if necessary, that you find available, of course, as long as your company is capable of convincing those VCs to come in. And then once we have done that, we will structure our participation in an equity investment contract that will be negotiated. It will take a few weeks or a few months, depending on the complexity of the agreement. We'll do that, of course, through a number of market experts that will be there to help us do that. But an important point here, we are providing equity in a non-dilutive way. In other words, we are not here trying to take control of your company if you need so. So we are acting in a bit differently than a normal VC, and will remain relatively passive when it comes to the business model or the business plan that you're trying to implement. We, of course, here will look at defending the interest of the money that we put in your company, but at the same time, we're not there to tell you what to change in your company. Of course, this depends very much on how advanced you are and what is the business case of your company, and therefore it's difficult to give you more details on how this will play out. Just to give you an idea of what we've done so far, this is the call that we evaluated in October. We got a very high demand of about 5 billion euros requested, of which about 2 billion euros were requested on liquidity-only part of it. So it's a very highly competitive environment in which about 4 to 6 to 7% of the applicants actually succeed at every call. But if you have a very good idea, I mean, you can do it, especially that many of our successful applicants try several times in a row, and therefore, after every failure, they improve on their proposal in order to come again. An important thing, so here you have all the websites that will give you more information. An important element here in connection to climate and the Green Deal that was mentioned in the panel before. We'll have a dedicated call for Green Deal startups and SMEs. That call will last from the 19th of March to the 19th of May this year. It will be dedicated to all the areas connected to green, climate, energy, and so on, and therefore engage all of you that may have such a proposal to come in and look at what we offer and apply. That's what I wanted to tell you. I think I have a couple of minutes to take a couple of questions, if there is any.
Are there any questions from the audience? Questions from the audience? Anything about funding? Yeah, there's a question. Awesome. You
I have to use this microphone now. I have one question. Can you tell us a success story of somebody that's gone through this and really somebody that we can feel and see today?
Well, I did a side event 2 days ago before the beginning of TechChill, and indeed there was such a success story of a Latvian company that got our support, 2.5 million euros of grant money. It was a company that was involved in train, dual fuel engine train that applied and got support for just the grant only part, which of course is looking at now at the possibility that are offered by our equity offer to complement this and accompany the growth and the scaling up of the company at this stage. But we have a number, of course, of companies that have been already selected. We have actually thousands of companies across Europe that have been selected and have gotten the grant support. About 70 companies have been selected at the call that I just mentioned here. And you can find them actually on the internet when you go there and have a number of examples of companies and what actually they do. But I mean, if you are more interested, you can give me your card and I will give you a few examples directly.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Give a round of applause to Stephane.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.